Welcome to this webinar about GDPR and compatibility with LS NAV. My name is Hjalti and I'm a product owner for LS Retail. Our yearly conference is called Connection. It will not take place in the usual shape and form in 2018. Instead, we intend to bring you the value of Connection throughout the year, and we are happy to offer you this webinar as a part of Connection Online. Please also register at lsconnection.com so you can stay updated on the latest information. The link can be found in the bottom right of this slide. Let's begin. What is GDPR? The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, imposes new rules on organizations in the European Union and those that offer goods and services to people in the EU. This also goes for companies that collect or analyze data tied to EU residents, no matter where they are located in the world. The goal of the legislation is to have the general public of the EU with enhanced privacy rights, increased duty on protection of data, making the data controllers liable for protecting data for all of their customers. If a breach happens, it is mandatory for data controllers to report the breach to the data subjects. Significant penalties for non-compliance to GDPR can apply, making companies liable for up to 4% of their turnover in fines. It is of utmost importance that all of this is finished before the 25th of May 2018 for all customers and partners. Personal data is any information relating to an identified or identifiable person. That means anyone who can be identified directly or indirectly. Name, social security number, login, email, or any identifiers or factors that have to be considered. In a world of social media and loyalty systems, this makes it of utmost importance for our customers to be able to opt out and in to programs storing their personal data. The minimum time companies have to reply and act on data removal is 30 days from the day of request. In GDPR, we have a couple of key personas, definitions, and concepts. The data subject is a person or entity that might request to access, port, correct, erase, and restrict processing of their personal data about themselves. The data controller is, for example, an information administrator. This would be the person or entity in charge of how the customer handles data requests following GDPR. The data processor would be the person or entity that manages the solution. For example, in the case of Dynamics 365, Microsoft would be the processor. That means that Microsoft manages the backend cloud services and all systems. In the bottom, we have the customer, and he's marked as C1. This is your primary customer, the person or entity that we have direct contact with. This would, for example, be the company purchasing cloud services from the data processor. LS Retail are providing a standard Microsoft solution to our customers. Microsoft will be providing a full classification on all tables and fields in the standard Microsoft solution. That means that every single field will have a privacy classification and also all tables in the system. Microsoft will also be providing a rapid start configuration package for all partners to use where they can work with this data in any way they wish. This can also be edited by partners to work in any way that they want. LS Retail will provide a classification to the standard NAV tables. Our main focus is on member management and cashier management. These are the parts of the standard LS NAV product that contains the most of private end-user data. When classified properly, the Microsoft-provided Rapid Start configuration package will fully work in the classification out of the box with a standard Microsoft solution. Microsoft's main focus will be, but not exclusively, on the following tables. So, customer, vendor, contact, employee, salesperson, and resource user. Partners that have their own systems should employ the same classifications to their systems. With the correct classification employed, the Rapid Start configuration package should work for all tables and fields provided by the partner. Microsoft will in later releases also be adding functionality for the customer to change privacy classification on fields within the NAV solution without having to change anything in the design mode of NAV. That will enable the same tools as mentioned above to be used in those fields. Microsoft recommends that you begin your journey to GDPR by focusing on these 4 key steps. Number 1 is discover. Identify what personal data you have and where it resides. This is solved in NAV using the data classification. Manage. To govern how personal data is used and accessed. Log all requests in a customer service system so that requests can be tracked and ensured that they are fulfilled. This ensures that you can give proper notice to data subject requests, and follow up on any discrepancies. Number 3 is to protect. Establish security controls to prevent, detect, and respond to vulnerabilities and data breaches. Depending on your role as a data controller or data processor, the GDPR obligates you to report and notify the relevant supervisory authority, affected data subjects and/or data controllers of certain types of personal data breaches. And lastly, report. Execute on data requests, report data and breaches, and keep required documentation. An important aspect of GDPR is to maintain audit trails and other evidence to demonstrate accountability and compliance with GDPR requirements. In Dynamics NAV, you can track and record data changes in the Dynamics NAV environment. The data and operations can be audited in the Dynamics NAV. They include the creation, modification, and deletion of records, changes to the shared privileges of records, the addition and deletion of users, and the assignment of security roles. So let's go a little bit over the classification, the data classification that I've already talked a little bit about. With cumulative update number 3, 2018, we get access to a classification to provide by Microsoft. The classification has the following enums that we can add to fields and tables through the design view in NAV. This is not something a regular user would have access to, but it's something that our developers and people with design view access can actually change. The first one is customer content. That would mean passwords, certificates, encryption keys, storage keys, and so on. End user identifiable information, username or display, for example, a domain name with username. Account data. This would be the data subject's name, address, email address, phone number, gender, or whatever is relevant to the data subject request. End user pseudonymous information. It could be a user GUID, a social security number, or any ID in the system that might use organized data subjects. Organization identifiable information. Tenant ID or system login. This could be a non-GUID value. In the LS NAV solution, a typical use for this would be the clerk login. System metadata is database table names, database column names, or entity names. There's also a selection for to be classified, new tables or columns added by developers while developing extensions or customizations. In the beginning, in most systems, there will probably be a lot of fields that are to be classified due to the unknown parts of the solution and regional changes. The customer layer has the following enums. As I mentioned above, this is the information that system users will be able to change on the fly through the NAV client. Personal data would be the name, the phone number, address, or similar information. Sensitive data, this could be, for example, a free text field that has identifiable information on the customer. To be classified is information that has yet to be classified, and other data that might still have to be classified, as I have a classification, sorry. So let's look at our development environment. This is the only deep dive I'm doing in this webinar, so if you have never seen this before, just stay patient. Within the design view in NAV, you have the following access. Here you can see how you would change the classification for a table in a database. The enums mentioned here before are available and enable the rapid start package to work with the data. You can see that in the bottom right corner. So there you have the enums, customer content to be classified, end user identifiable information, and so on. If you want to see the field view, you go to the Show Data Classification selection under Tools in the Development Design view. There you will get access to the following screen. So this gives you the show data classification. You click that and you get this one. This screen will give you access to classify any field available in the table. Here you can go through every table as you see in the top right corner and change whatever classification you need. To automate this for larger systems, Microsoft are enabling this to be run as shell script as well. So you can actually import a Excel file, for example, or CSV file, and you can import all your tables if the work has been done in another system, for example. In Dynamics 365 Tenerife, VS Code will be able to dictate how to classify the data subjects. This will be done in the code. An example here is, so you have the field called last name, a text field with 20 characters, and then you can set the data classification as customer content. So this is something that could be changed with the data subjects request. This week, Microsoft released the Cumulative Update 3 for 2018. In this update, Microsoft provides a rapid start configuration package that will work based on data classification. The package will allow you to export the data needed into a format that you can use. With this, you can generate and export the data contained in this package, giving you access to all the data fields and tables already classified by Microsoft, LS Retail, or you as a customer or partner. Every company in the EU dealing with data subjects has to have a strategy on how to report this information to the customer. Under GDPR, a data subject has the right to request the data controller to delete the personal data. Improvements provided in the Dynamics NAV March 2018 Cumulative Update and other updates relative to the above described data classification will help administrators identify personal data and thereby making it easier to locate personal data for responding to delete requests from a data subject. Unfortunately, there is no automated way to do this yet in the latest update from Microsoft. Dynamics NAV gives you several methods for correcting inaccurate or incomplete personal data or erasing personal data regarding on a data subject using the customization capabilities. But the decision and implementation is your responsibility. In some cases, you may choose to use Dynamics NAV windows to directly edit your data, such as modifying or deleting a contact, but that might not always apply. Several ISVs provide already an automated way to do this, and I hope we will be seeing more extensive additions to Dynamics NAV and 365 for this functionality in the future. When deleting or anonymizing, the standard functionality in NAV will prevent you from removing things that are not to be removed. Certain types of NAV records, namely business transaction records, such as general customer, tax ledger entries, are essential to the integrity of the enterprise resource planning system. Thus, the modification of personal data in such records are restricted. If you store personal data in the business transaction records, consider using the Dynamics NAV customization capabilities for any decision how to honor the data subject removal to modify such personal data. Also, if a customer or vendor has outstanding payments, the solution will handle that none of that data is removed except if you do a customization of that part of the system. Local law will dictate what you should do and what is possible. Each partner has to decide for themselves and also each customer. In the coming months, we have a roadmap from LS Retail and Microsoft. In March, the first Dynamics NAV solution was delivered this week. Actually, we got the white paper just yesterday in Cumulative Update 3 for 2018. In April, the first version of GDPR compliance will be provided in LS NAV, followed by a second update delivered in Cumulative Update 4 for Microsoft. In May, the GDPR will be going live, and you will be getting the last updates before the go live from both Dynamics NAV and LS NAV. It's of utmost importance that partners and customers have finished their data classification as soon as possible using the information provided in the beginning of this webinar. This will enable you to use the default solution from Microsoft and LS Retail and enable a quick and simple solution for your GDPR needs. For further information of what I've been talking about, Microsoft released yesterday a white paper and a guide last night. I recommend going through the solution that they are offering in great detail. A lot of what I've been talking about has touched on the information provided, but the white paper is really big in the information that they're offering. I think that's all for today. I hope you had a good time listening to this webinar. Please don't forget to register at lsconnection.com so you can stay updated with the latest information. There will probably be more webinars on GDPR from us. I would guess so. There will be more information available. We've been waiting for Microsoft to give us this information since November, and we've been pushing them almost daily since November. So a lot of the information is new because we got this package yesterday. So there were a lot of last-minute changes to my presentation due to that, but that's a good thing as well. So I would like to thank you all for coming here today. So thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.